Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today we will discuss about work energy power. So here three types of questions will come based on work and energy and power. So very first thing when you consider work, there are two kinds of questions. That is, work usually depends on force and displacement. One is force and another one is displacement. So work done equal to Fs cos theta is one formula if the force is constant. In case of constant force, work done is F bar dot S bar or Fs cos theta. And in case of variable force, work done is integration F bar dot dx bar. Again same dot product, but as force is variable, so the force value keep on changes from point to point. So we need to go for integration from initial position to final position x1 to x2. Then also you can find the work done from the graph. So from the graph, how can we find this? From fx graph, we can find the work done. That is, the area below the fx graph is equal to work done. If there is a force versus displacement graph, then area is equal to work done. And work done can be positive, work done can be negative, work done can be zero depending on the angle between displacement and force. The angle between displacement and force vector decides whether the work done is positive or negative or zero. Where the angle is acute, that is positive, angle is obtuse are 90 to 180, between 90 to 180, then negative. And exactly 90 means work done is zero. So that is what the work done by a force. What is the work done if it is constant? What is the work done if it is variable? Now after that, like one question here, usually they will ask, see, I have given like a formula, but it is like a question. You can remember like a shortcut formula. Work done in pulling hanging part L by N of chain on the table. Suppose there is a table and one chain is such that some part 1 by nth part of total length is hanging, then what is the work done in pulling it on the table? That is nothing but the work done is against the gravity. So mgh, where h is the height of the or depth of the center of mass. So for continuous bodies or continuous mass distribution, you should consider the displacement of the center of mass. So here you will get the formula mgl by 2n square. So very important, very well known one. Many times they asked question based on this. So that is what work done. When you go to next thing, that is energy, there are two types of energies are there in this chapter. One is kinetic energy and another one is potential energy. See here the first energy is kinetic energy and the second one is potential energy. So kinetic energy means half mv square, that is nothing but p square by 2m, because P equal to linear momentum mass into velocity. So you can take this relation also. Linear momentum equal to root of 2mk. Even comparison based questions also they can ask, like k proportional to P square. So k1 by k2 equal to p1 by p2 whole square. Not only here, comparison based questions can be asked anywhere from any chapter based on any concept. So when the body is moving, due to its motion, the energy possessed by the body, we call it as kinetic energy. So kinetic energy nothing but energy possessed by the body by virtue of its motion. And the next one is potential energy. The potential energy nothing but the energy possessed by the body by virtue of its configuration or position or change in shape. That is called change in potential energy. and that change in potential energy equal to always negative of work done by conservative forces. And the well-known thing what we study here is if there is a particle at any height from the reference level, usually we take ground as reference level, and on the ground we consider that the potential energy is zero. But depending on the given question, you can consider anything as reference level. And from the reference level, if the body or object is at some height, then the potential energy at that height is mgh. Or you can say in this manner also. Like you have taken the body from one level to another level and you increase the height by h, then it is called the increase in potential energy is mgh. Similarly, if you brought down by height h, then we call it as decrease in potential energy. That is also mgh. Now, here we mentioned at reference level potential energy always we assume that 0. And one more concept based on which they will ask question is spring concept. So if you consider there is a spring, then you can extend or you can compress it. So when you stretch it, when you compress it by a distance x, then there is a restoring force develops, and that restoring force is F equal to minus kx, where k is spring constant. And initially, suppose there is a compression x1, now you compress it to x2, then the work done. Or initially extension is x1, then you extend it to x2, extend it by x2, then what is the work done? In both the cases, the work done formula is this, that is k by 2 minus k by 2 into x2 square minus x1 square. But just before we have seen, as this is the conservative force, the work done by this one is equal to change in potential energy. But that is negative of work done, so that it will become plus. So from natural length. So initially the spring is in natural length means no extension, no compression. So x1 is 0. From x1 equal to 0, if you compress or extend it by x plus or minus, plus means extension, minus means compression, then this is the work done. And this is the increase in potential energy. Similarly, from extended or stretched or compressed position, if you brought it to normal position, then this is the work done and this is the decrease in potential energy. That's why we are representing with minus sign. Now, after that, one important theorem is based on which many questions we will solve. Even in another chapters also we use this theorem, that is work energy theorem. See, if you consider work can be converted into energy and energy can be converted into work. That means work comes from energy and energy nothing but ability to do work. Ability to do work. That's why work and energy are interconvertible quantities. Work can be converted into energy. Energy can be converted into work. So that's why here there is a formula that total work done by all the forces acting on the body, that is equal to total work done equal to change in kinetic energy, final minus initial kinetic energy. So that work done means work done by conservative and work done by non-conservative forces, both will come. But in our entire syllabus, work done by non-conservative force means the only non-conservative force is what? Friction. Friction is the only non-conservative force, that is equal to delta K. Now, one last and final thing, that is power. So power equal to work by time or rate of doing of work. So there is an average power, net to total work done by total time, or instantaneous power, where W, if you write it as F bar dot S bar, so power will become F bar dot V bar. So this way you can understand. And one more thing also, under the absence of non-conservative forces, So this will become 0. So then work done by conservative equal to delta K. From here, we will say that the K plus U value remains constant. That is, total mechanical energy remains constant. Under what condition? Under the absence of friction or non-conservative forces. The total mechanical energy of the system remains constant. And this thing we call it as law of conservation of mechanical energy. And all the difficult level of questions they will ask based on work energy theorem and conservation of mechanical energy only. But apart from that, every question is simple and formula based question only will be there, which you can solve very easily, either based on work done or based on potential energy or based on kinetic energy or based on power. Very simple questions they used to ask. So apart from that, anything else they have asked me that must be related to what? Work energy theorem or conservation of mechanical energy. Similar way, here based on the same conservation of energy principle and all, one more topic will come, that is vertical circular motion. So here one example is like a pendulum attached to a pendulum bob attached to a string and whirling in a vertical circular motion like this. Then at any point, what is the tension in the string, that they will ask, and the tension formula is given by this one. And as it is depending on cos theta, that is theta is the angle made with vertical. So the tension is maximum at the bottom and minimum at the top position. So that is what maximum and minimum tension. They can ask question based on this also. Or sometimes they will ask you like how much minimum velocity should be given at the bottom so that it will complete the full vertical circle. That is, here the minimum velocity should be equal to root 5 gr, such that when it reaches the highest point, it will reach with a velocity root gr, such that the minimum tension will become how much? 0. Because the minimum tension means what is the minimum value possible for any quantity? 0. There is no question of tension will become negative. So this is the condition for completion of vertical circle. And here one more thing also I will tell you. If in case of rod, thin massless rod, given some velocity such that it is completing vertical circle, then the velocity should be root 4 gr. That is different. So please try to understand the difference. So root 5 gr is the case of string attached to a bob. Root 4 gr is a case when the mass attached to a rod, rigid rod but thin and massless rod, approximately massless rod, means very less mass. And based on the same vertical motion, they will also ask in this way, like when there is a curved road and vehicle is going like this, then at any point, what is the normal reaction? That is mv square by r plus mg cos theta, where mv square by r is outward centrifugal force and this is mg, and the component in this direction is mg cos theta, and normal reaction is upward. So please try to understand it. So they can ask either normal reaction or tension in case of vertical circular path. See here I already mentioned, if in case of thin massless rod, condition to complete vertical circle, that is minimum speed at the bottom is root 4 gl. Here L because the length of the rod is nothing but radius. That's why they have written as root 4 gl. And one more thing, conical pendulum. Conical pendulum means what? It will rotate like this. See here. You please watch the video. See, this is normal pendulum. And if it is rotating in a cone shape, this is called conical pendulum. In that case, the effective length will become L cos theta, like this. So it will move in this manner. So this length will become L cos theta, so the effective length. So that's why here the time period is 2 pi root of L cos theta by g. Normal pendulum means 2 pi root of L by g. and the omega value is this much, g by, because 2 pi by omega, v equal to gl or gr cos theta, and tension in the string is this one. So based on this conical pen, how do you find the tension? Here you will take the free body diagram like mg, tension, and outward centrifugal force. Then you will balance it. Then you will get the tension value. Like this, the questions can come based on work, energy, power, work energy theorem, and application of conservation of mechanical energy and work energy theorem. Now, after this, in the same chapter, they will also ask questions based on collisions. So, if you consider the collisions, very direct questions they will ask. So, please try to understand here. I am explaining in a simple manner. So when one body of mass m1 moving with a speed u1, another body of mass u2 moving with a speed u2. So after collision, their velocities became, suppose v1 and another one became v2. Then the very first thing what you can define is coefficient of restitution. So what is coefficient of restitution is, coefficient of restitution nothing but the ratio of relative velocities after collision, that is v2 minus v1, by relative velocities before collision, that is nothing but u1 minus u2. That is what the coefficient of restitution. Then afterwards, the next thing is, you need to understand that when you consider a collision, that collision is of two types, either elastic or inelastic. Elastic means elastic or inelastic. You consider any kind of collision, the one condition, common condition is, in both the cases, linear momentum of the system conserved. That means the total linear momentum of the system before collision and after collision must be same. And based on this coefficient of restitution also, we will decide that if E equal to 1, that is called perfectly elastic. If E equal to 0, perfectly inelastic. And perfectly elastic means if same masses hit each other, then they exchange their velocities after collision. And perfectly inelastic collision means they stick to each other and they combinedly move together with common velocity after collision. That collision we call it as perfectly inelastic collision. And in case of inelastic collision, just inelastic collision means the E value lies between 0 and 1. And the very first thing is in one-dimensional collision. One-dimensional means the both masses should move along one straight line. That is called one-dimensional or head-on collision. In that case, the collision, after the collision, the velocities of m1 and m2 formulas are this one. One equation we will make conservation of linear momentum. That is like m1 u1 plus m2 u2 equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Another equation we will make coefficient of restitution, E equal to v2 minus v1 by u1 minus u2. So two equations, two unknowns, v1, v2. Then you can find v1, v2 in terms of u1, u2. Please remember these formulas. So these are the formulas. So please try to remember it. So this is one formula and this is another formula. Now here, in case of this collision, after collision what happens is there is a loss in kinetic energy. That loss in kinetic energy means final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy, and that value comes out to be this much. And if you consider head-on elastic collision, see here it is not elastic collision, sorry, here inelastic collision. Inelastic, one-dimensional. If it is elastic, what happens? Then E equal to 1. So E equal to 1 means you have to substitute in the above formula V1, V2 where E equal to 1. Then the V1, V2 formulas will become like this. Where E equal to 1, so here if you substitute, delta K value will become 0. So there is no loss of kinetic energy. That's why in elastic collision, kinetic energy is conserved. But inelastic collision means kinetic energy is not conserved. That is the difference. So please try to understand and remember it. So after this, let us consider perfectly inelastic collision. So perfectly inelastic collision means what? After collision, they stick to each other and coefficient of restitution value is how much? 0. That's why see here, if the condition, if you consider E equal to 0 and V1 equal to V2, that is M1 plus M1 U1 plus R minus M2 U2. Why we have taken plus or minus here? Because in case they are moving in same direction, plus. If they are moving in opposite direction, then minus. And there is a loss of kinetic energy and that is this much. So just remember the formula. Most of the times they ask the questions based on this. One of the important topic in work energy power. And one of the simple questions they will ask, they used to ask completely based on formula based questions. Now, here, few things I have written here, please try to remember and understand. In case of perfectly elastic, where E equal to 1, if M1 equal to M2, V1 will become U2, V2 will become U1. Means what? They exchange their velocities. That is what you need to understand here. And if M1 very much greater than M2 comparatively, then V1 equal to U1. That means V1 will not have any difference, but V2 will move with another velocity. If suppose in the same case, the second particle is at rest, just like a lorry hitting a small ball. So then the lorry continue to move with the same velocity, but the ball will move with double the velocity. And if in reverse case, M1 less than or less than M2, like a ball hitting the wall remains at rest only, V2 also 0. But the ball will come back with the same velocity, that is V1 equal to minus U1, because it is elastic, the speed will not change. So if it is inelastic, then speed will change. But here we are considering elastic collision, that's why the ball will rebound with the same speed but opposite direction. And rebounding of ball dropped from H, one of the simple and important thing. So what is this is, if you drop a body from certain height, then it will hit and it will go back up to some height H1. So after one collision, then it will go to H1. Then after second collision, it will go to H2 like that. After n collisions, it will go to a height this much, where E is coefficient of restitution. Similarly, after nth collision, what is the velocity with which it will rebound is this one. This is the velocity formula. So based on these two things also, you can get the questions. Or sometimes they will also ask the total distance covered. What is the meaning of total distance? See, you dropped here, then went up and came back, then like this, then like this, then like this, then like this. Finally, it come to rest. So the total path length, this total length we need to calculate, and that we can calculate, and that will come out to be this much. So you have to add H1 plus H2 plus H3 plus so on up to infinity. Then it will become geometric progression, GP series. Then you have to take the infinite GP series sum A by 1 minus R formula. Then you will get this formula. So this way you can understand what kind of questions will come. Here I will show you few shortcut formulas. Please try to remember. I'll just read it and try to understand. If there is a pendulum and you shifted it by some angle theta, then by applying some force, then what is the work done by external force and what is the work done in pulling it through an angle theta. So that is this one. So please try to remember. Just here you have to understand what is the height increased, what is the displacement, so that you can understand it. Now, in the similar way, instead of pendulum, if there is a rod and you shifted, then you need to consider the increase in height of the center of mass, not the edge, because it is a continuous distribution. That's why here in first case mgl came, here L by 2 came, remaining everything remains same. So that is the work done in pulling in displacing a pendulum or thin rod by an angle theta from its vertical position. And this is like you are pulling water from the well with the help of a bucket which is tied to a string. So bucket mass m containing water and it is pulling from a depth h, and the mass of the rope is something small m and length is L. Then what is the total work is this one. The work done in pulling the water from the well with the help of a rope or thread. Now work done on a body of mass m as a function of time t, if it is accelerated from rest to a speed v in time t naught. See, this is like work done on a body of mass m as a function of time t if it is accelerated from rest to a speed v. Now v is constant here. So what is the work done you need to calculate? So you have to apply what? Conservation of mechanical energy, or you can apply work energy theorem and you can solve this, or else you just try to remember the formula. Here even you need to apply the equation of motion like v equal to u plus at. Just try to understand how that equation comes. So why I am telling this, because if you try all these situations, then you will understand what kind of questions will come and how to deal with them. So please try to solve each and everything. Now work done, fifth one, work done in moving up a body on a rough inclined surface. So already in last class we have studied that when you are pulling it up, then how much friction will act, how much force you have to apply. That is mg sin theta will act downward. As you are pushing up, the friction will also act downward. So the total net force which you are applying is mg sin theta plus mu mg cos theta. So the work done means force into displacement. That is the work done. Similarly, work done in lifting a body of mass m and density d in a liquid of density rho through a height h. See, when it is inside the liquid, then the apparent weight or the resultant force is true weight minus the buoyancy force. That is what here we will consider. So that it will become, see, mg into 1 minus rho by sigma, or here sigma means density of liquid is d. Density of liquid of density rho. So yes, here rho by d. Yes, this is rho is density of liquid and d is density of the substance. But this is the resultant force which is acting. So force into displacement. So into h will come. That is the work done. And work done in displacing pendulum from theta 1 to theta 2. So earlier, just before we have seen, it is like mgl into 1 minus cos theta, because it rotated from equilibrium to by some angle. So initial angle 0, theta 1 0, theta 2 theta. But here I have taken general formula. Suppose it is at some angle theta 1. Now you have rotated to theta 2. Then what is the work done? And work done in moving a block vertically with the help of string W equal to TD cos theta. So you tie with a string and try to take it up. Then what is the work done? If it is accelerating up, then that is m into g plus a, it will become resultant force. So the force into displacement is work. If it is going down with some acceleration, then it will become m into g minus a into d. But here minus sign, because tension is upward, now displacement downward. While it is going down, it is negative work done. But while going up, tension is upward and displacement is also upward. So work done is positive. So that you can understand such kind of questions. Now, see here, a vessel of cross-sectional area contains a liquid. See here, whenever there is a vessel and some vessel is there. So height is something h. Then you have to consider its center, so that the total mass appear to concentrate here. So the height is h by 2 will become. So the potential energy will become mg h by 2. So here same way, the height is h and the vessel on the ground, then potential energy of the liquid, that is mgh by 2, where m is mass. Mass is nothing but volume into density. So this substituted and given the value in terms of area and density. Mass they replaced with volume into density. And in case of a block of mass m, so it is like a cuboid, not cube. Length, breadth, height, all are different. Then the maximum potential energy is possible when you place such that length is vertical. Because mass is same. So length is vertical. So length is more, so that the height will be more. So the potential energy is more. And when you place the body such that height is vertical, then there is a minimum potential energy. That is what here I mentioned. Now, a body is dropped from a height h above the ground, and when it falls through a distance e, y, its kinetic energy mgy. So it is just like conservation of mechanical energy. You need to apply what is the initial potential energy, what is the initial kinetic energy. Similar way, what is the final potential energy, what is the final kinetic energy, so that the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy remains constant. So please just try to understand the question. Next, kinetic energy is associated with all kind of forces, but potential energy is associated with only conservative forces. Already we have discussed, and this is the relation between kinetic energy, potential energy and work done and conservative force. In two inertial frames with the same relative speed, work done and kinetic energy different, but acceleration and force remains same. So with different inertial frames, so the speed will be different, relative speed, so work done will be different, so kinetic energy will be different. Because kinetic energy and work energy, according to work energy theorem, work done equal to change in kinetic energy. But the acceleration and force acting on it is independent of frame of reference. Now, if the bob of a simple pendulum is released from an angular position theta, then reaching, see here the thing is, so there is a bob. Now it is at an angular position. Now you released, then it will come down. So while reaching the bottom vertical position, it will acquire some velocity. So there is a decrease in height. So mgh equal to half mv square. So conservation of mechanical energy. Decrease in potential energy converts into increase in kinetic energy, and if you take that equation, then you will get this velocity at the vertical position or bottom position. Similarly, a body is thrown on a rough horizontal surface plane and comes to rest after traveling through a distances. So why it is coming to rest? Because work is done against friction. So work done by friction means frictional force into displacement, that is equal to change in kinetic energy. Next, kinetic energy of a freely falling body. Freely falling body means kinetic energy V proportional to V square. But V square minus U square equal to 2as if you apply V square proportional to H and V square proportional to T square, because V proportional to T. So like this. So there are many questions will be there. Many applications will be there. Now, work done by static friction may be zero, positive or negative, because work done by static friction means the particle may be at rest or depending on the situation. It can be anything. But work done by kinetic friction means always the body moves in one direction, kinetic friction acts in opposite direction. So the displacement and the friction is always opposite. That's why work done by kinetic friction is always negative, or in some cases it will become zero. Next. So based on the kinetic energy and linear momentum relation, so they can ask you percentage change questions. Like here is the relation between percentage change. So they can give any one relation, either percentage change in kinetic energy or percentage change in linear momentum they will give. So that you can find either relation between K1, K2 or P1, P2. So using one relation, then you can find the relation for other one. And then From these formulas, you can find percentage change. So one of the very simple and important question. And two bodies moving with same momentum when same opposing force applied on them to bring to rest. So it is stopping distance formula. So just try to understand it. Simple one. If they move with same kinetic energy, they cover same distance before coming to rest. Then ratio of time. So here work done equal to change in kinetic energy formula you can apply. Or you can apply work energy theorem or conservation of energy. Once please try to understand and try to solve it. This is also one of the important situation. So here they are asking the comparison based question. So please try to solve on your own what is the situation. Then a open knife edge of mass m drop. See, there is a wooden floor. This is wooden floor and you are dropping from certain height h. Then it will first drop and it will hit with some velocity. So it will try to go up to some depth x. So that here when it is penetrating through the wood, due to the resistive force, it will come to rest. So what you will take? Here what is the velocity? Just before hitting, that is root 2 gh. And here velocity 0. So the change in velocity, change in kinetic energy equal to what? Work done. What is the work done? Work done by gravity, work done by resistive force. So both the forces work done, you will equate it to change in kinetic energy. Then you will get this equation. So it's all about whenever such kind of situations given, you have to apply conservation of mechanical energy or work energy theorem. Similar way, a ball dropped from a height h above the ground rebounds to a height h2 after hitting the ground. The fraction of energy lost is. So it is a very simple one. Initial potential energy mgh1, final is mgh2. So the fractional loss means final minus initial is called change, and change by initial is called fractional or relative change. Now in the presence of air, if we drop an object m from h and it acquires a velocity v on reaching ground, work against air resistance. So here again same thing, work done by conservative force plus work done by non-conservative force equal to delta k. Delta k means change in kinetic energy. So dropping means initial velocity 0. So initial kinetic energy 0. So half mv square minus 0. And work done by air resistance means work done by non-conservative force you have to find. Here work done by conservative force means work done by gravity, that is mgh. So you can find it. That is what here I have given the equation. Now spring constant of spring is inversely here. The question is about if the spring, when you consider the spring constant is proportional to number of turns or length. So less length means more stronger. More length means less stronger. So the stiffness or force constant is inversely proportional to number of turns or length. And when you break it into or cut it into two parts, length decreases so that the spring constant increases. And when you divide them into two parts, these are the new K1, K2, where the relation is given as shown. So please try to remember it. Now, when spring loaded gently, it's extension or compression. See, loaded gently means you will attach a spring, a block to spring, and slowly you will pull it down. So you will bring it to a position called equilibrium, where the gravitational force mg will be balanced by kx. But when you just leave it from the position, it will go down with some work done. So there you will consider the decrease in potential energy mgx equal to increase in potential energy of the spring, half kx square. And few questions based on power. Power of a machine gun fires n bullets per second. So one bullet means energy half mv square. N bullets means n into half mv square. And power means total energy by time. Per second means by 1. Power of a motor to lift water to height some height h. So that means mgh is the work done by time. So m by t only here I have written as dm by dt, or else you can write simply mgh by t. A body of mass m accelerates uniformly from rest to a velocity v. This is one simple question like p proportional v equal to u plus at, one equation you have to apply. Then p equal to dw by dt, you have to apply another equation, so that you can get this equation, the power in terms of time. So just try it, you can get it. And if a vehicle moves with a constant speed v against friction, power of engine. So against friction it is going means, what is the power formula? Power required to maintain constant velocity means how much? Power equal to force into velocity. So force is mu mg, velocity is v. Now a conveyor belt is moving with a speed v, and something gravel is falling on it at a rate dm by dt. So that some force will act. How much force will act? Variable mass means v dm by dt. So the force is v dm by dt, and the power is force into velocity. So v into v square into dm by dt. Such kind of simple questions they can ask you. If a pump lifts water from a well of depth h, so it is lifting water from depth h means mgh is the work done, and with a particular velocity, v means kinetic energy half mv square. So the total energy is mgh plus half mv square, and the total energy by total time t is called power. So this way you please try to understand and try to solve questions based on whatever we have discussed: work, energy, power, collisions and all. One dimensional collision, one dimensional head-on collision, elastic collision, inelastic collision. Few more things we will discuss in continuation, and in coming class we will also discuss about center of mass and system of particles continuation, right? So thank you so much. We'll continue in the next class.